Today I'm going to show you how you can make a sign without any stencils or Cricut or even Mod Podge. You know I love my Mod Podge reverse graphic transfer method to make signs, but this one is super simple and super easy. I got some carbon paper off of Amazon and it came with a whole bunch of sheets of black and white transfer paper and these little burnishing tools. And I also picked up some paint pens that I'm going to try. Now, I haven't tried any of this, so this is going to all kind of be just a first-time process. I think it's going to be pretty easy, and if it is, it's a great way for you to make signs really affordable. The first thing I did was I picked what I wanted to put on my sign. This is just a piece of old driftwood that I had, and I printed off welcome, and I sized it to fit my project. And we are going to use a piece of the carbon paper. I'm going to use a piece of the black to transfer the lettering onto the piece of wood. I've cut the carbon paper to the size that I want it on the wood. Now I don't want it to move around very much, so I've got a little bit of packing tape, and I'm just going to kind of just make sure it stays in one spot and tape it onto that so it doesn't move around. And then I've got my graphic, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put it exactly where I want it, and then I'm going to tape it on top. I'm going to move it down a little bit, and then I'm going to tape it right on top of that carbon paper so it doesn't move around. And we're ready to start tracing the letters onto the wood. Now you can use a toothpick or something that's got a sharp end on it, but you want to be able to burnish that carbon paper right onto the wood so when you go to paint it afterwards, you can see where you need to paint. And you just want to take your time. You don't want to go outside the lines, so you can have a nice crisp graphic when you're finished. So I'm just going to work away at this. Okay, I have it all traced, and you can take this up really carefully and you can have a look and see if you've missed any spots. And it's transferred really well. So now I can see, I don't know if you can see very well, but now you can see where you need to paint all the letters. Now I'm going to paint with one of these paint pens. I love these. You can get them in different tips and colors. And I'll put a link below down in the description for these too, because they're really great to craft with. So now I'm just going to use my paint pen and just paint all around those lines that I traced and fill it all in. And I don't care if it's completely perfect, because this is going to be a really rustic sign. So just take your time if you're using these and just trace it out first, and then we'll fill it all in with the paint pen afterwards. I have it all traced out now, and we're ready to fill it in with a paint pen. And now this is on raw wood, so it's a little bit harder to see what you've traced out. If you were doing this on a white painted surface and then doing the carbon transfer, it would show out a lot more, and you would be able to see the lines when you're tracing. But this worked out really well. I've got it completely done, and it takes a little bit to dry, the paint pen to dry. Not very long though, it's quick drying, so I'm going to set it aside, and when it's dry, I'm going to make it nice and rustic and finish off this sign. I've got a sanding block, and I'm just going to sand right over those letters that I painted so it looks really weathered and old looking and not perfect. And I'm going to seal it up with some polyacrylic water-based sealer. Just put a a good coat over the whole piece. And if you want to make a sign like this and keep it outside, then I would recommend using a outdoor polyacrylic sealer. And now I'm just going to drill a couple holes in the top to hang some jute string through. I've had these in my stash for a long time. They're little bells. I think they might have came on a dollar store sign maybe, and I took them off and set them aside. And I'm going to put them along the bottom of the sign, and I think it'll finish it off perfect. This up, and I remembered I had some beads left over from a DIY I did on how to paint beads quickly. Fantastic tutorial. If you haven't seen it, you need to go back and check it out. I'll put a link down below in my description for it. But I thought these colored beads kind of fit that vibe really well for the sign, so I'm going to add them onto this piece of hanging jute. So you can see how easy it is to create signs using this transfer carbon paper. And if you are kind of intimidated by all the rest of the sign making processes, this one's for you. I'll put a link down below in the description so you can grab some carbon paper if you don't have any. And the kit with the burnished tools is fantastic to use. And the paint pens are so easy to be more precise when you're tracing all of those letters in. So I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.